Do this daily and nothing will steal your happiness in 2026. Happiness is not found in grand achievements or perfect circumstances. It is a daily choice, a habit that protects your inner peace no matter what life throws at you. Many people chase happiness externally through money, status, or validation. But true joy is cultivated internally. In 2026, the secret is simple. Practice gratitude daily. When you begin and end each day noticing what you have instead of what you lack, you build a shield around your heart that no circumstance can break. I once met a man who had lost his job, struggled with health issues, and felt his world had crumbled. Yet, every morning, he wrote 3 things he was grateful for. Small things like the smell of rain, a kind neighbor, or a simple meal. Slowly, his perspective changed. He began noticing opportunities instead of obstacles, kindness instead of criticism. By focusing on gratitude daily, his happiness became independent of his problems. Another example is a young woman overwhelmed by social pressures. She started a simple evening ritual, reflecting on 3 moments that went well each day. Some days they were tiny, a smile from a friend, finishing a task, or a quiet cup of tea. Over time, she realized that even in chaos, life was full of gifts. Gratitude rewires the brain to notice abundance instead of scarcity, and happiness becomes a constant companion rather than a fleeting visitor. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. When you appreciate people for what they do, rather than expecting more, bonds deepen. Happiness is not a result of perfect relationships, but of seeing their value. Daily acknowledgement of love, support, and kindness, whether in words, notes, or thoughts, creates a ripple of joy that reaches others and returns to you. Gratitude is contagious, and it protects your peace from negativity. Practicing gratitude daily trains your mind to focus on the present rather than dwell on regrets or worries. Life may not go according to plan, but your daily habit of noticing blessings ensures that even in difficulty, there is a source of joy. Your inner world becomes stable, resilient, and resistant to external storms. Happiness becomes an intentional practice, not a passive hope. Even small gestures count. A heartfelt thank you, a mindful smile, or noticing beauty around you adds to your daily happiness bank. The brain begins to recognize positivity more readily, and negative events lose their power. Over time, you find yourself laughing more, worrying less, and appreciating life in its simplest forms. Happiness becomes effortless, anchored in gratitude, not circumstance. So, remember, nothing external can steal your joy if you practice gratitude daily. In 2026, make it a habit, morning or evening, write, reflect, or silently acknowledge what you are thankful for. Happiness is not something you pursue, it is something you nurture. When gratitude becomes your daily companion, life becomes richer, lighter, and more beautiful. No matter what challenges arise, happiness is like a garden. It grows when nurtured and fades when ignored. Gratitude is the daily water that nourishes it. Many people wait for big moments to feel grateful, but life's true abundance lies in small everyday blessings. When you consciously acknowledge what you already have, you train your mind to see positivity, even amidst challenges. Daily gratitude becomes a habit that strengthens the mind and shields your heart from negativity. Even simple daily practices can transform life. For example, one man facing financial struggles wrote 3 things he was thankful for each morning: his health, a neighbor's kindness, or a warm meal. At first, it felt mechanical, but over time, his focus shifted from scarcity to abundance. He started noticing opportunities and joys he had ignored before. Gratitude rewires your perception, allowing happiness to grow independently of external circumstances. Gratitude also helps us handle setbacks with resilience. When challenges arise, it's easy to dwell on loss or unfairness. But a mind trained in daily appreciation notices small positives even in tough times: a supportive friend, a lesson learned, or simple safety. This perspective softens the blow of adversity and provides emotional stability. Daily gratitude creates an internal buffer, that protects happiness from being hijacked by difficulties. Relationships benefit enormously from daily gratitude. A simple thank you or acknowledgement strengthens bonds and fosters goodwill. People feel valued, and the heart that gives recognition becomes lighter. A young woman began appreciating her colleagues daily for small acts of kindness, and over time her workplace became more harmonious. Gratitude transforms interactions into sources of joy, making happiness not just an individual experience but a shared one. Gratitude also trains your mind to focus on the present. Most unhappiness arises from regrets about the past or fears of the future. By reflecting on what you have today, you anchor yourself in the present moment. Even small joys, a morning sunrise, a smile from a stranger, or a favorite meal become meaningful. The brain begins to recognize abundance rather than scarcity, and joy becomes an automatic response rather than a fleeting reaction. Consistency is key. A single day of gratitude may not transform your mindset, but daily practice builds momentum. Writing down 3 things you are grateful for each morning or evening, or simply reflecting silently, gradually rewires your neural pathways. Happiness shifts from external events to internal awareness. Over months, challenges affect you less. Smiles appear more often, and life feels richer and lighter. So, remember, gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a practice, a daily discipline. In 2026, commit to noticing what is already good in your life. Celebrate the SMA. L. Appreciate the ordinary and acknowledge the unseen. When gratitude becomes part of your daily routine, happiness stops being fragile and fleeting. It becomes permanent, anchored in your heart, immune to circumstances beyond your control. Happiness often slips away when the mind drifts into what ifs or if onlys. We worry about the future or dwell on past mistakes, forgetting the blessings already present. Life unfolds moment by moment, and joy resides in noticing what is here right now. By focusing on present blessings, you anchor yourself in reality, rather than being hijacked by fear or regret. Each moment of awareness becomes a seed of lasting contentment. A man I met was consumed by anxiety over a pending project. He constantly imagined failure, criticism, or rejection. Yet, when he started writing down 3 things that were positive in his day, a supportive colleague, a productive meeting, and a calm evening, he realized that despite challenges, much was going right. By noticing current blessings, he reduced worry and found clarity to act effectively. Awareness of the present transforms stress into strength. Past regrets are another thief of happiness. Many replay mistakes repeatedly, punishing themselves mentally for choices they cannot change. Focusing on current blessings shifts energy from blame to gratitude. A young woman constantly felt guilty for past academic failures until she began celebrating small wins today, finishing a task, helping a friend, or enjoying a walk. By anchoring herself in what is good now, she stopped reliving regret and started living fully. The present moment is the only reality you truly control. Future outcomes are uncertain, and dwelling on them steals energy from what can be done today. By focusing on what is already good, you empower yourself to act with calm confidence. Even small actions, preparing a meal, completing a task, or spending time with loved ones become opportunities for joy, because attention is on what exists rather than what might happen. Gratitude amplifies the power of present awareness. Noticing simple blessings, sunlight, laughter, friendship, or health creates emotional resilience. Challenges may still exist, but their intensity diminishes when contrasted with positive awareness. A farmer I once met focused each day on tending crops, family, and community, rather than fretting about uncertain weather. His peace came from valuing what was tangible and immediate rather than fearing what might come. Daily practice is essential. Reflection, journaling, or meditation on present blessings strengthens this habit. The mind is like a muscle. What you train grows stronger. When you repeatedly focus on what is positive now, it becomes your default perspective. Future worries and past regrets still appear, but they no longer dominate. Life feels lighter, relationships deepen, and happiness becomes steady rather than fleeting. So remember, the present is a gift, and blessings are alriya. Die all around you. Shift your focus from what you cannot control to what is real and beautiful today. Celebrate small victories, moments of connection, and simple pleasures. When your attention is grounded in the now, happiness cannot be stolen by imagined fears or lingering regrets. Life becomes richer, calmer, and more joyful with every conscious present moment. Happiness is rarely a solo journey. Our relationships, family, friends, colleagues, even strangers shape how we experience life. Yet, too often, we take people for granted, expecting love, support, or kindness without acknowledgement. Small daily gestures, words of appreciation, thank you notes, or sincere smiles create bonds that nurture both others and ourselves. These tiny acts accumulate, forming a foundation for lasting joy and meaningful connections. I once met a teacher who made it a habit to greet each student warmly and acknowledge their efforts, no matter how small. The impact was profound. Students felt seen and valued, and their respect and affection reflected back to him. The teacher's daily acknowledgement became a source of happiness, not just for the students, but for himself as well. Recognition, however small, strengthens relationships in ways that grab. Gestures often cannot. Perspective grows alongside acknowledgement. When we actively notice the positive actions of others, we begin to see the world differently. Instead of focusing on faults or frustrations, we see effort, intention, and kindness. A manager I knew started sending short, appreciative messages to his team daily. Over time, he noticed not just their work performance improving, but his own stress decreasing. Gratitude and acknowledgement shift your lens from criticism to understanding. Even simple acknowledgement, like thanking a bus driver, holding the door for someone, or complimenting a colleague, ripple out. These small gestures remind us that happiness is relational, it thrives in connection. By consciously noticing the efforts of others, we experience joy from their presence and contributions, not just our own achievements. Daily acknowledgement teaches humility, gratitude, and empathy, strengthening both heart and mind. Challenges in relationships often arise from neglect or misunderstanding. Regular acknowledgement acts as preventive care. It communicates respect, attention, and love before resentment can grow. A couple I met practiced a simple daily ritual, sharing one thing they appreciated about each other before bed. Over decades, these small acknowledgements nurtured deep trust and intimacy, proving that consistency matters more than extravagance in maintaining relationships. Acknowledgement also refines perspective toward life's larger picture. By noticing goodness, effort, and support around us, we develop gratitude for the present moment. Life feels fuller when you actively recognize people's contributions instead of focusing on disappointments or unmet expectations. Daily acknowledgement is like adjusting a lens. Suddenly, ordinary interactions appear extraordinary and happiness becomes more accessible. So remember, small, consistent acknowledgement has immense power. It strengthens relationships, nurtures perspective, and creates daily joy. A heartfelt thank you, a smile, or noticing effort every day builds bonds, improves understanding, and reinforces positivity. Happiness is contagious, and when you actively honor others' contributions, your own life is enriched. Daily acknowledgement becomes a simple, practical key to unshakable joy. Happiness is often mistaken for a result of perfect circumstances, wealth, recognition, or comfort. Yet, external conditions are fleeting and unpredictable. True joy is an internal state cultivated by mindset. When your mind learns to focus on gratitude, acceptance, and presence, happiness becomes independent of external ups and downs. A calm, positive mindset shields your heart from life's unpredictability. Consider a woman facing repeated professional setbacks. Initially, she felt powerless and unhappy, blaming circumstances. But she shifted focus to her attitude, celebrating small accomplishments, learning from mistakes, and controlling her responses. Gradually, she discovered joy within herself, not from promotions or praise. Mindset transformed hardship into a source of inner strength and peace. External conditions are always temporary. Circumstances can change overnight: a lost job, a stormy relationship, or sudden illness. If happiness depends solely on them, it becomes fragile. Mindset, however, is portable. By training thoughts to focus on growth, gratitude, and compassion, joy remains steady. A person with the right mindset can smile in adversity and appreciate simple blessings regardless of external chaos. Mindset also shapes perception. Two people may face the same challenge, yet one suffers while the other grows. Perspective, optimism, and resilience are products of mindset. For instance, a student failing an exam may see it as the end of the world, while another sees it as feedback for improvement. The external event is identical, but mindset determines whether it diminishes or strengthens inner happiness. Daily practices reinforce mindset. Meditation, reflection, journaling, and gratitude exercises train the mind to focus on what can be controlled rather than lament what cannot. Over time, the mind naturally notices positivity, accepts challenges, and responds with calmness. The outer world may remain unpredictable, but internal joy becomes habitual, sustainable, and unshakable. Mindset-driven joy is also contagious. When you consistently cultivate inner positivity, it influences family, colleagues, and friends. A calm and cheerful mind spreads hope and encouragement, improving relationships and environment. External conditions may create temporary smile. Yes, but inner happiness radiates warmth consistently, independent of what happens outside. So remember, true happiness is a product of mindset, not circumstances. External conditions will always fluctuate, but your mind is within your control. By cultivating gratitude, perspective, and resilience, joy becomes a daily companion rather than a fleeting visitor. In 2026, focus on training your mind, and nothing success or setback will ever steal your happiness again.